going home for the holidays. For me, going home that year was a very depressing affair, but a certain event changed everything in an instant. The summer holidays. But this year, we have plans to visit my in-laws. My wife definitely wanted to go home because it was the 1-year anniversary of her grandpa's death. "You look so down," Lisa exclaimed, playfully tapping me on the back as I stood by the calendar. I was caught off guard and stumbled forward a bit. Several years had passed since we got married. It is all because of my educational background. No matter how much Lisa tried to convince them, her father would just shout, telling her to break up with a man who only had a high school diploma. Soon after starting college, my mom fell ill. To support the 3 of us, she worked tirelessly day and night. Though we had some savings, it wasn't enough to support my siblings. So, even though she must have been suffering from her treatment, she encouraged me, saying, "There must be someone watching you, so keep doing your best." Just around that time, she grew thinner by the day. I wished she would worry about herself more. After her passing, I continued working at the cleaning company to support my brother and sister. That's where I met Lisa. She was handling the office work for the cleaning company. Her parents owned a factory that had business dealings with our cleaning company, and she got the job through that connection. I got to know her due to a certain incident. The days flew by, and before we knew it, it was the middle of summer. I followed Lisa as she headed for her parents' front door. Lisa adjusted our sleeping elder daughter. The fact that she has to feel so nervous in front of her own family home made me feel sorry for her.
Yeah, we're strong.
James looked surprised and clung to me. For James, these are his cousins, but he doesn't know how to act as this is their first meeting. I greeted them, but they just gave me a cold stare and a scoff.
"Don't you think a family of cleaners would be out of place?"
She said, heading towards the late grandpa's room. I followed her. "Grandpa, look." Up from the corner of my eye, I could see James's cousins showing a sketchbook to their grandpa. It pains me to think that I will not be able to give our children the experience to play with their grandpa like that. And I felt anger building up, wondering why we have to be treated this way. My Phil seemed like he didn't even want to look at us. "Oh right," he suddenly exclaimed, standing up.
Dad, you sure?
James looked up at me with a troubled expression, perhaps aware that the comments were about him.
No need to stay a place like here any longer.
She, possibly surprised by my rare outburst, momentarily looked stunned but then stood up to follow.
"A place like this?
I heard his yelling voice from behind.
It's over.
Just go home."
The man emerging from the car was dressed in a sharp suit. The Bill tilted his head, looking at the mysterious man.
"Idiot, shut up."
"Mr. East."
"Oh, he has been."
He greeted him with a flustered look.
Hello, Mr. Smith. We're in your office.
Mr. Hayes,
This man is Mr. Hayes. He's the CEO of the cleaning company where Lisa and I work.
His first death anniversary is coming up. Oh. I will pay my respects.
Please, make yourself comfortable at our place. We'll guide you to the gravesite shortly. It didn't seem like sweat from the heat. Well, it's quite hot here, though.
It looked like you all were quite rude to my benefactor.
Even though I wasn't directly in front of him, he seems utterly clueless. Realizing I'd become the center of attention, I panicked.
well, I just happened to be there at the right time.
No, the paramedics would have been in grave danger had you not been there.
What Mr. Hayes was talking about is right after I started working at the cleaning company. I was visiting the main office for training when I heard that Mr. Hayes had collapsed. The office was in chaos. I recognized his symptoms and immediately acted. I didn't have any medical expertise, so I just did basic first aid. My mom had heart problems, so I had learned as much as I could about them and even attended CPR and AED training sessions. Luckily, that knowledge was useful that day. The paramedics arrived soon after and Mr. Hayes was rushed to the hospital. Later, he recovered completely. He was very grateful to me and still looks out for me, even though I'm just an ordinary employee. When my mom passed away, he was genuinely concerned for me. He still checks in on me from time to time.
I was so happy about the two of you getting married just like you were my own kids.
Mr. Hayes' stern gaze turned to my Phil and bio. He just stuttered.
I'm really disappointed. Oh, I appreciate that. Kanye.
I could see my Phil and Bay left behind. Lisa, sitting with the kids, suddenly started laughing. I watched Mr. Hayes' car in the rearview mirror. Months have passed since then. My FIL's factory seemed to have ceased its dealings with Mr. Hayes' company. I've secured a promotion at my job, and things are going smoothly. I didn't do anything special. I just provided first aid, and I'm normally just a janitor. Still, knowing that someone was there, watching and caring, made me truly happy. When I told this to Lisa, holding Mary, she teasingly laughed and said, "Oh, I'm right here watching you all the time, only looking up at the sky. I hope that up there, my mother can see that we're all doing well."